When Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman appeared together, they looked like a dream come to life. Hollywood's golden couple, two dazzling stars who seemed perfectly in sync, destined to stay that way forever. But in 2001, that dream collapsed overnight. Their fairy tale was suddenly over, and no one saw it coming. Rumors began swirling about power, faith, control, yet Tom's silence only made the mystery deeper. What really happened behind closed doors? Why did he walk away so suddenly? This isn't just a story about love lost, it's about what tore Hollywood's brightest couple apart. It all began in 1989, on the set of Days of Thunder. Tom was already one of Hollywood's biggest names, a global superstar at the top of his career, fresh from his first divorce. Nicole, meanwhile, was a young Australian actress, talented, striking, and just beginning her journey into American cinema. When they met, the chemistry was instant. The chaos of a movie set turned into the backdrop for something real. After filming wrapped, the connection between them only grew stronger. Within a year, they were inseparable. On Christmas Eve, 1990, in the quiet mountain town of Telluride, Colorado, they got married in a small, intimate ceremony. No paparazzi, no press, just two people, deeply in love, ready to begin a life together. By the mid-1990s, they were no longer just a couple. They were the couple. Hollywood adored them. Magazines couldn't stop printing their photos, and fans idolized their romance. To the world, they were perfect. Tom was dominating the box office with Jerry Maguire and Mission Impossible. Nicole was quickly rising, captivating audiences with her performances in Batman Forever and To Die For, which earned her a Golden Globe. Together, they symbolized success and glamour. Two stars shining side by side, untouchable, unstoppable. They looked like a modern fairy tale, walking red carpets arm in arm, always smiling, always connected. But what the world didn't see was the quiet intimacy between them. Two people who genuinely seemed to comfort and balance one another. They worked together again in Far and Away, a sweeping romantic drama about Irish immigrants chasing the American dream. Watching them on screen, it was hard to tell where their characters ended and their real love began. Their connection was that natural, that effortless. Yet the more the world adored them, the harder it became to keep their relationship truly private. By 1992, they were ready to start a family. That year, they adopted their daughter Isabella, and 3 years later, their son Connor. They were fiercely protective parents who tried to keep their children away from the spotlight. They wanted a sense of normalcy, family dinners, quiet weekends, time away from flashing cameras. But fame doesn't allow much quiet. The more they tried to protect their private life, the more the media dug in. Every gesture, every look, every red carpet appearance was analyzed for hidden meaning. Were they happy? Were they drifting apart? Rumors of affairs and tension filled the tabloids week after week. Tom and Nicole fought back, even suing publications that crossed the line. In public, they smiled, held hands, and stood united. But behind closed doors, the pressure must have been relentless. Tom once admitted that every step Nicole took became bigger news because she was with him. A small but telling truth about the suffocating spotlight they lived under. For Nicole, that constant attention meant something deeper. Slowly, the world began defining her as Tom Cruise's wife, more than as an actress in her own right. For someone as talented and independent as Nicole, that loss of identity could quietly eat away at a person. For Tom, it meant protecting his family while also protecting his image, a balance that few people could ever maintain. In 1999, They appeared together in Stanley Kubrick's final film, Eyes Wide Shut. It was a psychological, sensual exploration of marriage, trust, and desire. And the timing couldn't have been more symbolic. The movie became infamous not only for its mysterious themes, but because Tom and Nicole's real-life marriage was under the microscope. Were they acting or revealing something real? Audiences couldn't tell. Some said the film's intensity mirrored their relationship, that it forced them to confront emotions they'd buried for years. Whether that's true or not, something undeniably shifted after Eyes Wide Shut. Up until that point, their relationship had seemed unshakable. Tom's intensity and ambition were balanced by Nicole's calm, grounded energy. They laughed easily in interviews, spoke with affection, and seemed deeply connected. But slowly, cracks began to appear, not visible to the public, but quietly forming underneath the surface. Behind the glamour, a new tension began to rise. People close to them whispered that the real strain came not from fame or schedules, but from something much more personal. Tom's deep connection to Scientology. He'd been one of the church's most visible and dedicated members since the 1980s, crediting it with helping him through difficult times. But for Nicole, the faith was unfamiliar, perhaps even unsettling. Those close to her said she preferred a quieter, more spiritual path, one that didn't align with the structure and influence of Scientology. Insiders claimed that the church viewed Nicole as a potential distraction from Tom's devotion. Others said she tried to be supportive, but never fully embraced it. Tom, for his part, denied that faith had anything to do with their issues, insisting their split had other causes. Still, the whispers never stopped. For the media, Scientology became the invisible third person in their marriage, a shadow always in the room, quietly shaping their story. As the 1990s ended, Tom and Nicole's careers soared higher than ever, but their personal connection began to fade. Constant travel, back-to-back film shoots, and the unrelenting pressure of fame left them little time to just be. When both partners are living inside a global spotlight, the smallest distance can quickly grow into a canyon. And when your marriage is also a brand, change becomes almost impossible. Every move is watched, every emotion captured. The performance of perfect love becomes exhausting. Nicole began to rediscover her own voice. In interviews years later, she would say that for much of her marriage, she felt like she existed in Tom's shadow, the supporter, not the equal. That quiet imbalance, however subtle, can erode even the deepest love. Add to that the emotional scars they carried. Early in their marriage, Nicole suffered an ectopic pregnancy, a devastating loss that nearly cost her life. They later turned to adoption, creating a family filled with love. But pain like that leaves marks no one can see. By early 2001, something between them had broken. And then, without warning, it all ended. On February 5th, Hollywood woke up to a headline that sent shockwaves across the world. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman were separating. There had been no public fights, no warnings, just a short statement citing their careers as the reason. It was polite, it was clean, it was vague, but everyone knew it wasn't the whole story. What the public didn't know at first was that Nicole had been blindsided. Just weeks earlier, she'd spoken in interviews about how happy she was, saying things finally felt stable again. She'd even become pregnant, something they'd long hoped for. But soon after, Tom told her it was over. The pregnancy ended in miscarriage, a heartbreaking final chapter to their marriage. Nicole later said she begged him to try counseling, to save what they'd built, but his mind was made up. The divorce became official in August 2001, but the emotional fallout lingered. Nicole, though devastated, handled the aftermath with remarkable grace. She didn't lash out, didn't air grievances, didn't speak badly about Tom. Instead, she focused on her work and her children, holding herself with quiet strength. When she appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman that same year, the audience held its breath as he brought up the divorce. Nicole smiled, took a pause, and simply said, "Well, I can wear heels now." The crowd erupted. It was funny, but it was also powerful, a symbol of her newfound freedom, her quiet resilience.